hear me okay, let me know in the chat, and hopefully the chat is working okay too. I did report it to YouTube, and they said they looked into my account. So I hope everybody is having a good one. I saw that everybody is at BravoCon this weekend. I was just looking, and they said that Jen Shaw was uninvited and still showed up, and apparently she's not invited to the reunion episode either. I'm just curious why she doesn't get the same smoke that Erica gets, because as far as everything I've seen, Erica hasn't been arrested or proven to have known what was going on with her husband's situation. Yet obviously Jen Shaw was the supposed mastermind behind hers, and I still see people online saying that they're team Shaw or whatever, and I'm like, not that Erica should be getting away scot-free with anything, but it is odd that one person is being held accountable for something they may or may not have any involvement in, whereas somebody else is being celebrated or still supported. So make sure you guys vote in the poll on who you want to start with, because like I've said, I don't watch these shows, so I don't know like what questions you guys do or don't have, and it's split between Lisa Rinna and Erica Jane. So let me know what questions we even would have about these people as well. And also make sure you guys accept the community guidelines thing. YouTube made us all put it in our thing. I didn't know that we had to do that, but just in case that's keeping you guys from being able to accept and put up your comments in the chat. I have to talk to clients today. Hey, Mimi. I know, I almost forgot that we were going to go live today, because after this I have to go take off and finish 2 client calls and then go finish up some of the HR stuff that I'm doing with my old boss. So it slipped my mind. I was like, oh my God, thank God I remembered this morning. And I don't know how it slipped my mind either. I think it's just because I was running around trying to get everything ready for today, because I've been listening to all the recap channels to kind of get an idea of what was even going on right now anyways with these people and all of this stuff, because somebody told me that I was right about Kathy Hilton, because when I did my reading on the Richards sisters, I said that it felt like Kathy came on the show to try to take over it, and that's something that was alleged that she supposedly said, but there's so much did she also say racial slurs or homophobic things, or did she, do all this other stuff, or was it only just that she went off about Kyle? Which I did think it was telling, because I saw an interview where they asked Kathy, how are you and your sisters right now? And she said, I want to make sure that it's clear that Kim and I have always gotten along. We've never had any problems. And we always have each other's backs. And then she said, but Kyle's my sister, and I love her, and we have texted a bit. So it was like, well, Kathy sure wanted everybody to know that Kyle is the problem when it comes to that. Which I've always felt like Kyle's kind of sneaky, anyways. I never, when I did used to watch back in the earlier seasons, like, I just could never get behind Kyle. She always, especially the way that, like, she would let people drag Kim, or it seemed like sometimes she was setting Kim up. So, hey, Dario, how are you? So, it looks like we are going with Kathy Hilton. What questions do we have about her so we can get into it? I'm going to see. Well, you guys put your questions about Kathy in the comments. I'm going to ask, where does Kathy and Kyle stand at this point? Because I also, when I was trying to catch up on everything that was going on, people were saying that Paris was throwing shade on Twitter about Kyle, and her and Nikki weren't too happy. And then people were saying Kyle's daughter is getting married, so Kyle's probably freaking out because she doesn't want there to be this big family rift right before her daughter's wedding, and then, there's drama with that. So I just want to see, where do Kathy and Kyle stand at this moment. And I'll be honest, when the show did start, I had no idea who the hell Kyle Richards was. I was aware of Kathy Hilton because of Paris Hilton, and I knew Kim Richards because of Witch Mountain, and some of the other, like, shows and things that she'd been on when she was younger. But I wasn't even aware that Kyle was also in shows and TV when she was younger, too. Okay, so there's still always been tension. I'm assuming, well, Spirit's telling me to interpret this King of Wands who comes up in the underlying energy as, what's his name, Mauricio, Kyle's husband. I know there was some drama there with, he started the agency when he was working with Rick, and he basically poached some of the agents. And what Spirit is saying is that even though Kathy and Rick have chosen to put this behind them for the greater sake of family, it still really, like, hurts them and stings and has made them never trust Kyle and Mo again. And they really feel like a lot of the stuff that Kyle does is somewhat influenced by him. Even if he's not necessarily, like, getting in her ear and saying, oh, you know what, Kyle, you should be mad at your siblings because of XYZ, it's still, maybe you feel like you need to go out on such a limb to defend your husband and have his side, that sometimes you try to paint us out to be the bad people to justify in your head what you guys did, is the way that Kathy, is looking at things. They will make up and they will go to Farrah's wedding, but this has really caused a further wedge overall just in their relationship, in the sense that Kyle and Kathy will never ever be like the super close sisters that, either of them honestly wants to be, because Spirit's saying deep down inside, Kathy wants, Kyle to get along with her and Kim. And Kyle doesn't want this, but there's jealousy that's always getting in the way. And it's not coming from Kathy's end. And Kathy doesn't feel that even Kim is jealous. It's that she feels that Kyle has a lot of jealousy towards both her and Kim, and that's what causes Kyle to act out in a way that she does. There's also something here about Kyle at times trying to make it seem as if she had maybe more of a close relationship to the mom than she did. Like, Kathy feels like, as the oldest, I was more close to mom, but because you were the youngest and stayed in the house longer with her, like, you seem to think, oh, like, you and mom had a closer relationship, but that wasn't the case, Kyle, and you try to rewrite history and reclaim things for yourself, and I don't appreciate that. Because Kathy does give Kim a lot of credit for basically, like, holding the fort down with all of her jobs, and she doesn't feel like Kyle gives Kim that same recognition, or that she gives them the same respect for being older sisters the way that Kathy would prefer her to do. So there's never going to be any real trust between them. Spirit saying they'll go back and forth between being close and not being close. Hey, Ronette. So, but there's still always going to be that wedge of, I can't fully trust you, so I can't ever let my guard down. And Spirit is saying that Kathy, watching this last season playback, she feels like Kyle was involved in everything that happened as far as people going after her. And it's, you may not have been behind the scenes telling them things about me and saying, go after my sister, but it's very reminiscent of what you did to Kim. You know, you kind of play the victim, cry, make it seem like you're the one who's the black sheep of the family, and your sisters are just so mean to you for no reason. And then you sit there and let everybody attack your sister, but you don't stand up for her, but then you cry and say, that's my sister. So Kathy really feels like, okay, like, Kim is way too nice and she let you get away with this shit, not me. Like, I'm going to put my foot down, but I definitely see that you did the same thing to me that you did to Kim. So she does blame Kyle for everything that did happen this season. Hey, Amanda. You know what, Mimi? I forget that there's siblings too. Maybe it's just because of all the plastic surgery or something that they just don't even, like, look alike to me anymore. I don't know. So let's see. I was going to ask that one. Dario, let the live get to 20 minutes in just to be on the safe side. And I will come back to your question. You guys put question in front, but if you have any questions about Kathy Hilton or anything relating to Kathy, drop them down below. So let me answer Mimi's question, and then I'll come back to yours, Dario. Just, you know, because the YouTube algorithms, like, I'm always like, don't cuss in the first 5 minutes. Don't do this. Don't do that. Like, reminding myself so we don't get in trouble. So let's see. Is Kathy going to do anything behind the scenes to blackball some of my friends? Thank you, Spirit. Because that's the thing, you know, Kathy is part of, like, old money and old money Hollywood. So that's why I was like, Lisa Rinna, do you have a death wish on your career? And, like, even on, like, you know, like, I heard other people saying, like, how's she ever going to get a dinner reservation? All Kathy has to do is call a few people, and, you know, it's like, what was the saying of that old book, you'll never work in this town again or something? Okay, this is the funny thing is that, okay, first, thing that came up. Do you guys remember that there was a rumor going around that Lisa Rinna was supposed to do a Christmas movie for Peacock, and then they took it away from her and they gave it to Garcelle because of all the like drama that she was involved in and everything. And at the time, I was like, who the hell associates Lisa fucking Rinna with Christmas of all damn things? And it's just like when they were trying to put Julia Fox and Remy Ma on the new franchise or the new casting of the Real Housewives of New York. Sometimes I'm just like, do you guys think these things through? Because that's an odd combination of people, or like in this case, like that's an odd combination of a person and a holiday. But what Spirit is saying is that, I guess Peacock did think like, oh, well, if it doesn't make sense, maybe people tune in just to figure out like how the hell does this even like work. But Lisa's already lost a lot of opportunities, and this is the funny thing that Spirit's saying, because they are confirming that she did lose that Christmas special. She's lost other opportunities. There was something that she's working on, a brand like ambassadorship type thing that fell through as well. The funny thing is that Spirit's saying is Kathy Hilton knew I don't have to pick up a damn phone and I don't have to call anybody. Social media, my kids, Bravo itself will do the dirty work for me. And, especially when she saw that the tide was changing and people really were attacking Lisa Rinna and just saying, like, she's a horrible person and she needs to get off this show, it was like, well, you know how, what was it that Garcelle said to like Erica one time, like, I don't have to make you look bad, you're capable of doing that all on your own. It's like, that's how Kathy felt about Lisa. Like, you made yourself look bad. I don't have to actually do anything. And just because I'm Kathy motherfucking Hilton, do you know how many people are going to come back and be like, okay, well, I don't want to like risk pissing Kathy Hilton off, so let's just not work with Lisa Rinna anyways, or let's not let her into our restaurant, or let's not give her this brand deal, because to us, we would rather work with the Hiltons or have them on our side because that's a better name and better recognition than, again, Lisa fucking Rinna. Like, okay, we're just going to ride off of the Billy from freaking Days of Our Lives train forever. So, Harry Hamlin. And I'm sorry, guys. They were playing, like, I guess she, like, put up some Instagram story, and people were saying that she seemed like she was on something because she was all out of it. And she's like, when people tell me, and I know exactly what I'm doing, and somebody said she looked exactly like Harry Hamlin in her story. That was just so funny to me because I went back and watched it and I was like, oh my God, she actually is. She looks like Harry Hamlin now. This is insane. I mean, the fact that she still has the same haircut and the same hairdo that she had when my mom used to watch her on Days of Our Lives and I was like 10 and I just turned 40 2 days ago, that says a freaking lot. Like, let's get with the times, Lisa Rinna. So, anyways, but there is somebody else over here that's showing up in these cards, another man. And Spirit is saying that this is an NBC Bravo executive type person who's higher than Andy Cohen, who is trying to figure out how do we take down Lisa Rinna and then just discard her the way that we do I mean, if you're in my Patreon, you know, Hollywood always does this to people anyways. They'll use you to do their bidding. They'll use you to make all kinds of money or push an agenda or whatever. And then once you've done what they required of you, and then it's like, okay, well, now the general public isn't fucking with you anymore. So we can't use you to influence things. So now we have to destroy you and discard you. And there is somebody that's really looking at it like, the Hiltons have a good reputation with NBC overall. This person does not like the way that things panned out, and they weren't happy with the edits or that they even allowed any of this to be shown. So they are ordering from the top. Spirit's confirming once again that I said this before, that Lisa Rinna will be on the next season, but it's going to be all about let's attack Lisa Rinna and destroy her and then get her out of here for good. So expect that Lisa Rinna will get the worst edit ever and be painted out to be, whether it's true or not, you know, it's just, there's other people that feel that they have to go to bat for Kathy and Rick, and this is how they're going to do it. But Kathy herself did not make any phone calls because, like I said, she knows who she is. She knows the power and weight and clout behind her name. And that people are just going to automatically take her side and go after Lisa or anybody that did do something like that about her. So let's get into the rant and what actually did happen. Okay. What was Kathy actually ranting about? And did she say any homophobic or racist words? See, this is the thing that Spirit is saying where Lisa Rinna fucked all the way up, okay? What Kathy said about her sister, 100%, she said it was true. I hate Kyle. I'm going to ruin her family. I'm going to take over this show. I only showed up to do that and prove something to her because she's always, you know, messing with me and Kim, and she thinks that she's the big shot, and she's not. That stuff, definitely, she said. And this is the thing that Spirit's saying. It's like, that alone, if Lisa Rinna had just kept it at that alone, and of course, recorded it too, because if you're on your fucking phone texting Erica from the other room, that you've never been more scared in your life because somebody's going on a rampage, wouldn't you record it, or wouldn't you call production and be like, Kathy's tearing the house up, come back, you need to record this shit, and make her stop too at the same time and be like, ooh, you know, this is going to be juicy. No. She instead, you know, waits, lets Kathy go off, and then adds to it. And that's where Spirit is saying that she messed up. Because if it had just been, oh my gosh, Kathy was going off about Kyle, people might have actually taken Kyle's side and been like, wow, I can't believe that Kathy said those things. That is so horrible. You know, what a horrible way to treat your sister. Maybe Kyle's right. And oh my God, Kathy's a monster. But it's when she added in untrue things to it that it lost all credibility. And then that's why Lisa Rinna is like the one facing the backlash from it, because Spirit's saying, number one, there was no racist or homophobic slurs that were said. Not that Kathy Hilton or the Hilton family in general has not had their fair share of insensitive, downright prejudiced comments that they have made, you know, Paris too, like in the past, and it's on YouTube and the internet for everybody to see. But in this instance, Spirit is saying she did it. And they're also saying that, you know, I saw Candy Washington pointed this out. If Lisa, you know, was right, and Kathy's going on this, like, rant, and she's screaming about every single person on the cast, and she's being racist, why didn't she say anything racist about Garcelle? Like literally, she supposedly said something about every other single person that works on that show except for Garcelle, and just conveniently left her out. And but she's also being racist at the same time. Wouldn't Garcelle be at the top of your hit list, or Cherie, or Crystal, the other people, non-people of color, on the show? But those are the three she supposedly didn't say anything about out of everybody. Like, that doesn't make sense either, right? And so Spirit is saying she said one negative comment about one other cast member, and it was along the lines of, they're supposed to be my friends. Why don't they stand up for me if Kyle can't? And then Lisa Rinna was like, well, let me say that she also said Sutton is this and Erica's that, and she doesn't like to read either, and throw everybody into it, because then it was like, okay, well, Kathy is just a hateful person. But really, she was ranting about Kyle. And this is the other thing, too, Lisa. What did she. So, in this ranting and raving that she was doing, and you supposedly are the one that pissed her off because you said you wanted to try your friend Kendall Jenner's tequila over Kathy's tequila at the bar. Where is what Kathy supposedly told you? Wouldn't she have cussed you out, too? We didn't hear anything about that. Because I'm sorry, but if I'm going off about everybody that supposedly made me feel outcasted and bullied, then I'm going to call you out on your shit in the middle of my screaming too, and be like, and look at you, bitch. You fucking were sitting there ordering Kendall Jenner's tequila when you know I'm trying to promote my stuff. So that's why it's just like, it didn't make any sense anyways, and that's where, Lisa fucked up. If she would have just left it at what actually happened and recorded it at least, she would have been the hero of this season, and Kathy would have been the one that, like, everybody turned on. But she took one piece of truth and added a bunch of lies to it to make it even bigger than it was, and that's why she's being completely discredited now. And what does Lisa threaten Star Jones for? Of all freaking people, Star Jones, what did Star Jones do to you? Like, I don't even remember Star Jones existed until I read this comment right now. Oh my gosh, is Kathy Hilton jealous of Kris Jenner and the Kardashians, or see them as some type of competition? That's what Lisa also said was going on. Let me see this. Because I'm like, Kris Jenner basically tried to, like, become Kathy Hilton. That's funny that Lisa would even say that. Then she'd also say that Kathy was jealous of Kyle because Kyle is self-made. Why would a billionaire be jealous of somebody that had to work their ass off? Like, I wouldn't be jealous. I'd be like, ha ha, I married into it. Look how hard you have to work. Like, that wouldn't cause me jealousy. Lisa was just grasping at some damn straws, wasn't she? Oh my gosh. Okay, first of all, Kathy does not at all see the Kardashians or Kris Jenner as any type of competition. She honestly does, see them as people who basically copied her and her daughter. And it's like, oh, you guys were smart enough to turn it into something. But there's no jealousy there. It's just more of like, okay, again, that whole thing of, you had to work really hard to have my life. Why would I be jealous of that? Especially because you have to work really hard to hold on to everything that you have created for yourself. Whereas for me, I don't have to do anything except just wake up every day and be myself. Because, regardless, the Hilton name will always have that cachet to it. There's always going to be opportunities for Kathy. And Spirit's saying, the way that Kathy looks at it is like, I turn down 100 things every day because people want to be associated with me and my family. You have to go out and chase 100 things to secure one deal. So no, Kathy is not jealous of the Kardashians. She just sees them as like, okay, like you copied us, have fun with that because there's a lot of responsibility that goes along with copying people. Dude, well, it sounds like Lisa Rinna needs to go worry about if her husband's ever coming back from Canada or not. Because Harry likes to go live in his truth out in the woods with his swinger family. Not the He's not trying to be home, up in Lisa fucking Rinna's cheeks, if she even has any. So, did you guys have any other questions about Kathy? The Spirit saying Kathy wants to go back on the show next year just to prove a point to Lisa Rinna. Like, Kathy would have honestly gave up and moved on by now and gotten bored with it and been like, okay, like if there had been no big drama that had happened involving her this year, Spirit saying like we would have seen even less of her on the show next year. And she really would have just popped up here and there at like a Christmas party or something like that. Now it's because I saw the preview clips from the next reunion episode where she was basically calling Lisa out and saying that you ran off Lisa Vanderpump, you ran off all these other people, you're the biggest bully in Hollywood and everybody knows it. So Spirit said Kathy's just like, you know what, I'm going to make sure I come back next year and I'm going to make sure that I am on TV as much as fucking possible just to piss you off, Lisa Rinna. And then I'm going to laugh when that's your last season and the whole next season is just about taking you down. And then after that, I probably won't care to come back anymore. But Kathy's a Pisces, right? Because this is what I say about Pisces and Libras. We're the exact same except for two things. Pisces operate from emotion, whereas Libras try so hard. That's why we get known as indecisive. We try to gather all the information and not make emotional decisions. So I always say if you go and you're friends with a Pisces and a Libra, the Pisces, and you tell them their problems, the Pisces can be like, how does that make you feel? Whereas the Libras can be like, okay, and this is what we're going to do to get ourselves out of this situation and fix the problem. Because the air is about doing, the water is about feeling, but either freaking way, Pisces and Libras can be the most stubborn ass signs in the zodiac. You just don't expect it from them because they usually are the ones that compromise. But when you really like make them feel disrespected and they really didn't want to do something or you made them get out of character, oh, you are about to deal with the most stubborn person of all time that will make Capricorns and Tauruses and fire signs look like they are the most easygoing, wanting to just get along people, and we will make your lives hell. Because when it gets down to the like, okay, now it's the fucking principle of things, and I gotta prove y'all wrong. So that's why I was just like, I am not surprised to see that she's like, well, I didn't care about being on the show anymore anyways. I was bored of it. But now I'm going to go be the star just to prove you wrong, Lisa. That's the thing. It takes a lot to get a Libra or a Pisces to act out a character, but when we do, we will destroy your entire fucking life, and you'll wish that you crossed a Scorpio instead of us. Because we really do become pet bulls, and we will not let go once you make us have to actually stand on something. So do we have any other Kathy questions? And then we can move on to Lisa motherfucking Rinna. And then Miss Erica Jane after that. No, Pisces can be really freaking stubborn. They're the nicest people, though. I mean, that's the thing, too. When you get people that carry a duality in their energies, like air and water signs, we always come at you nice and open-minded and open-hearted, especially if you're a balanced one. But piss us off or take us the wrong way or come at us crazy, and then we're going to match energy all day long. I know, Mimi. It was like, that's what I hate, is that we have to be so censored over on YouTube. Which I'm guessing after the survey that I filled out yesterday for them, if somebody actually reads it, they're probably going to be like, we're not sending her surveys anymore. Because I was just like, once this censorship stops, you might find that more of us actually pour more into our channels over here, but we refuse to. And I said, no, YouTube is not a safe space. That's how we are, Dario. That's why I'm like, you got to be careful. That's why we say if a Gemini is being crazy to you, what did you do to make the Gemini be crazy? Because Geminis want to be like friends with everybody, and that's usually why Libras are like, calm down, girl. We don't have to be buddy-buddy with everybody, but get them out of character, and there we go. So what are your guys' Lisa Rinna questions then? Let's get to her. I'm assuming nobody really cares to ask a bunch of questions about Crystal. I still have no idea why she's on that show. Because last year I watched some of the recaps just to see like what was going on, and it didn't seem like Crystal contributed a lot. And then it was the same thing this year, and I just saw like a lot of people were saying that like the rest of the cast doesn't like her now. Is Lisa going nuts? No, Spirit said Lisa was doing exactly what Kathy called her out on. You had to renegotiate your contracts. And this is the thing. Lisa apparently had it in her contract that like Harry Hamlin wouldn't be like a storyline and that people couldn't bring him up to like, you know, bring up his past or things like that or their marriage. Her daughters obviously don't really want to be on the show or like even related to her most of the time. And so Spirit's saying that she really felt like she, you know, it came from a place of desperation. I have to come up with something in order to have a storyline this year and to prove myself valuable as, you know, a cast member, because not, I don't even get that Lisa's like was even worried about being on the chopping block before this. It's at least wanting more money And she knew she had to do something to get it, is what Spirit's saying. And so to her, it was like, well, Kathy and Kyle already have this very kind of, rocky, tenuous relationship, anyways. She saw how Kyle was constantly like making little snide remarks at Kathy the whole season, and so it was like, oh, well, I'm gonna go after Kathy then. That's easy, and that's what she did. So this was really honest. She thought that like it was just gonna blow up into something, that Kathy was gonna be the bad person, get run off the show. Her and Kyle would end up being best friends, and Lisa motherfucking Rinna has her storyline secured, and now she's in the position where she can go to Bravo and say, okay, time to re-sign those contracts, and this is how much money I want. Because she wanted, basically the Candy Burris paycheck. She's going to be lucky that they even re-sign her contract anyways, and she's definitely not getting more money. Actually, what Spirit said is she's going to have to humble herself, because last time they gave her a 5-year contract. This year she's getting a 1-season contract. And we'll see how things go, which is a huge slice of humble pie, because you thought you were going to take down somebody else and get a raise for it. And instead, now your job's on the line and you're not getting that raise. You're guaranteed that you're going to make less money when it comes down to it. So Spirit saying that's what she expected was going to happen, and it's not that she was going nuts. It's that she thought she was just playing the dirty game to get the money and the fame out of it. Will Lisa's fraudulent life with Harry ever be exposed? Let's see. Allegedly, it was supposed to be exposed, and Kim Richards' book is no longer coming out. So, let's see. Do you know what's weird? I heard that her lip kits actually really sell, though. And then people actually like them, and I was like, what? Like, I thought we were past the whole lip kit movement of life anyways. But also that they actually sell. I was like, wait, what? I don't know why. I just thought like, oh, there's no way in hell like her lip kits can be really that big, but people said that they do. Okay, this is the thing. There's been conversations between Lisa and Harry that if, anything comes out about his romantic life, that's provable, so to speak, like she gets on the internet and says, you're right, me and Harry, are best friends that are married but don't have like a romantic life, or, anybody's able to like point fingers and prove it, then Harry and Lisa's marriage will be over. Because it's just like, what would, you're my beard. So if everybody knows I'm out here throwing my little Harry around, throwing Harry Jr. around at anybody and everybody, then, what is the real point in us being married anymore? So, and Lisa doesn't, honestly, she knows there's nobody that's going to come and, like, take his place. Really. Who's lined up around the block to date Lisa Rinna? Nobody. And on top of it, she gets this kind of status of I'm married to Harry Hamlin and we have this long-standing relationship, and that's such a rare thing in Hollywood anyways, to have any kind of a marriage or relationship that lasts, especially that long. And he doesn't want to give that up and have to start all over. So it's like, I'll just continue to front the lie. Somebody is going to come out and expose a lot of stuff, but what Spirit's saying is it'll be after she is no longer on the show. And really, whoever this is that comes out and like really spills tea, because it sounds like somebody that messed around with Harry Hamlin, one of his side dudes, comes out and has receipts and decides to share them with the world. It'll come out, but it'll be after the show is over. And for whatever reason, it's because this person feels like, okay, well, now I'm safe to like actually like tell the truth about what really went down, rather than have to worry, because Lisa and Harry have done like dirty things to people in the past and gone after them or threatened them when they did try to expose them. So but it'll come out. Give it a couple more years, because she's got to be completely off the show first. Oh, what will Lisa do next? You know what I keep seeing Lisa Rinna doing? Playing the mom on one of those like ABC family shows. But it's not, it's like, I'm trying to think, because obviously I don't watch TV, so, and I'm older, so I'm like, I don't know if anybody remembers like UPN and like some of those networks, like where it's like you're the bastard child to the major network. And I keep getting like her being on a show like that, like playing the mom, where it's like you see her for all of 5 minutes the entire season, but it's just spread out, where it's like, oh, here's your dinner, honey, and like things like that. But it's gonna still be, again, a couple years from now. But Spirit keeps saying that she'll have, little roles here and there, but nothing that's absolutely that big. She's going to hope that she's going to come back on Bravo, though. So don't expect that Lisa Rinna is going to get kicked off and, like, go full scorched earth and go, like, bash Andy or tell everybody, like, what really goes on behind the scenes on Bravo or any of those things, even though we might expect it from her, because Spirit's saying she's going to then sit there and do what a lot of these housewives do. That was the most fame, the most attention, the most money, the most whatever, that I could have hoped for at this point in my life. And so I'm always going to stay on the good side of Bravo in hopes that at some point they take me off of pause and put me back on the show. Also, Spirit saying Lisa's going to try to attempt to get into the podcasting thing like how Teddy has, where, I'm not on the show anymore, but I podcast and we talk about the show. But it's not going to work out, and Lisa will give up on it because nobody gives a fuck to listen to her talk about the show she used to be on. I just see the comments being really mean, and then her just giving up on it. So she's going to try, a few things here and there, but the most that I keep seeing her getting is, like I said, like playing the mom on some show, or maybe like having some small parts in Lifetime movies here and there. Did Lisa really say about Garcelle that she didn't like that she was bringing race into the show? Spirit said yes, she did say that. Did she try to play it off like when she said Kim Richards was close to death, and then that girl like literally like said word for word what Lisa said, and she's like, when did I say that? I never said that, and was like acting like it was like the biggest surprise ever. And then they played back the whole clip of her saying word for word to that other girl, like what the girl was saying about Kim. And then later on, she's like, I'm sorry, I forgot. Like, I feel like she would do that, you know? But Spirit saying Lisa's got a big fucking mouth, and that's definitely obviously coming back to bite her in the ass. Wait, Teddy Mellencamp whooped some girl's butt. It's supposed to be from BravoCon and Samantha Bush. I don't know who Samantha Bush is. That kind of sounds familiar, but I'm probably just confusing her with the Bush family. I did not see anything about that. Okay, listen, let me tell you what I do know, okay? There is a so-called Bethany clause in these contracts. I told my Patreons this before, but now it's been proven because, like, Dana Wilkie's outed it and a couple other people now. But they call it the Bethany Frankel clause because Bethany started the whole Skinny Girl brand while she was, you know, obviously on the show, and they obviously didn't get any cut of it. So basically, now it's on there that if you start a brand while you are on the show and you use the show to promote it, that Bravo gets a cut. So they're basically like 360 deals for Housewives. Because that's what these 360 deals in the music industry are. It's not just that, oh, we get a cut of any of the music that you put out or your tour royalties or whatever. It's literally, even if you go do a side deal with Fashion Nova or Coach or whoever, we as the company still get a cut of that because you signed a contract that basically we own your name and likeness. And so we're licensing it to these companies, and we're the ones that are getting the royalty payments too. So that's why, honestly, Mimi, I don't know if maybe some of these people are like, let me just wait until I'm getting off of this show, and then I'll start my own side business because I don't want Bravo and Andy Cohen, you know, to make money off of my lip kit or what toaster oven or whatever else the hell it is that I choose to sell. Well, when you think about how much, like, because Bethany sold her company for a lot, and that was like a huge brand. So I'm sure, you know, that Bravo was probably sitting there like, damn, we could have made a few $100 million off of, you know, the brand, the sale, all of that. Although I don't know, like, because again, I don't watch all these franchises, so I'm like, maybe somebody else has done this. But I was like, I personally am not aware of any other housewife building up a brand to the extent that Bethany did. Let me Google this Samantha Bush person. I don't have Twitter. Okay, wait. Okay, I see a red-haired girl on the floor. I'm like watching the video. It came up. Dang, if that is, you can't even see if that's Teddy or not. Because, like, the girl's hair is in the way and you can't see the other girl's face. I would not expect Teddy Mellencamp to fight, like, that good, though. Like, honestly, I would expect her to just freaking cry and call her dad or something. Okay, because I typed in Samantha Shaw, or I mean Samantha Bush, and that's why I was trying to see, like, who is Samantha Bush. Okay, I just see this blonde girl. Apparently, they got into it on Twitter the other day. For somebody stealing somebody else's content. I don't pay any attention to any of these people. I'm like, what is going on? Yeah, Alexander, when you sign those NDAs, you got to be real careful and really read through them and make sure. I mean, you guys, I have celebrities. A couple of them I read for. I've actually turned down more than a few because obviously then they don't want me to talk about them on YouTube. But I've had some of them try to send me over confidentiality agreements that were basically saying that, like, I had to give them any profits from any videos that I've done on them previously or would do going forward, and that I can't speak about them for, like, all these years and all this crazy shit. And, like, that's usually when I'm like, yeah, I'm not reading for you anymore. Because I don't give a shit, you know, this little funky however much that you're paying for your appointment. I'm not gonna have you like have control over what I can and can't do an entire 10 years from freaking now when, you know, because a lot of times what they'll do is they'll purposely book an appointment with you, make you sign the confidentiality agreement, get you on the phone and be like, I didn't even want a reading, I just didn't want you to talk about me anymore. That hasn't happened to me, but it's happened to other people that I know that have dealt with that. And so to me, I'm always just like, yeah, we're not playing those games. Because you're going to probably not even be freaking relevant anymore. Like, no, thank you. Yeah, because they know, do you know how many people are going to get excited and just be like, oh my God, I'm going to do a reading for Jennifer Lopez or whatever, and they don't even think twice and sign it, and then later on they're getting sued or getting legal letters warning them about stuff because they didn't read the contract. They're hella sleazy. That's why I've posted in my Patreon before too. Like they'll try to like give me fake ass sponsorships and shit on purpose. So again, I can't talk about you, and then you can dox me. Like fuck you. Like I'm not that stupid. Some people might be, but that's why we have this channel, and that's why I do what I do, so that way you guys can see celebrities are just celebrities. They're not better than anybody else. They still have the same fucked up lives. They just have money, and we know who they are. At the end of the day, they're not any better than anybody else. So, anyways, guys, do we have any other Lisa Rinna questions? Let's move on to Erica Jane, because I have to get off of here in 30 minutes because I have some clients to talk to. And if you wanted to book your own personal private reading, psychicbellalove.com. Whatever is on there is on there. I'll have emergency appointments back up again on Monday. I just made that option private because I wasn't going to have the time to do any calls at all this past week. And then also Patreon no longer just only charges you on the 1st. They charge you on your join date again, so you don't have to wait. So patreon.com/psychicbellalove, and I am also on Instagram under psychicbellalove because that's my name. So yay, I'm excited. I love getting to talk to you guys personally. Well, Beanie, I mean, again, look what happened in Meg the Stallion's paperwork that she filed against Carl Crawford. She said she made $15,000 in 2 years off of her music. I was just like, well, I've definitely made more than $15,000 in the past 2 years, so apparently I'm richer than you are. And I would never call myself rich in any other circumstance. I'm just like, I'm just a normal person, just getting by like everybody else. But Meg the Stallion made me feel really rich when I saw those, what do you call, court papers. And that's why after that, when they like any of these celebrities want to be like, mind your broke ass business or this or that, like I'm just like, all right, but am I really broke? Are you broke? Are you really the one that's broke though? Because it seems like it. And now I can't take you seriously. And it doesn't hurt my feelings at all. I don't care. Because I was never out here claiming to be rich in the first place. So if you're not claiming that you're like some rich baddie or something, then why would it hurt your feelings if somebody calls you broke? Exactly, Prairie Flower. I mean, that's why so many of them have to do that. But even in that, if you are in a 360, and some of that sponsorship money, it's like, do you even get to see it, or is your label just taking it so that way they can pay back all that advance money and payola money and things like that? Will Erica lose any of her lawsuits, or will she have to pay or do jail time? Okay. And I saw the clip of Erica saying that she didn't give a fuck about anybody but herself. And when they were like, why is it so hard for you to just say you're sorry? Which I don't get. I'm like, okay, like I understand if you really truly like didn't know, but like, why can't you at least say, I am sorry? Like, at least that way, like, then it makes people believe you when you say you didn't know. But Spirit said, yeah, she didn't know. She also didn't give a fuck either, because remember how she said that, oh, that she asked Tom, like, why are all these lawsuits coming and my name is on them? And he told her, don't worry about it, that's normal or something. And so she just believed him. It's like, that's what Spirit said, you know. It's not that she knew. It'd just be like, oh, whatever, Tom will deal with it. But she didn't care. Even when, and there was rumblings that his money did not come from an up and up place for quite a while. Again, did she care to go and ask him or try to figure it out? No, because she didn't care. I was like, well, I'm still benefiting, so I don't care enough to try to, you know, figure things out. So, again, I mean, Spirit's confirming that she really was blindsided by all of this and she had no idea what was really coming. And on top of that, she didn't expect, even when the news did break, she did not expect that she was going to catch the level of smoke that she has been behind all of this. She really thought, like, oh, people just blame Tom and see me as the poor, you know, victim wife who had no idea what was going on. So her anger is about how the public is perceiving her and that she does keep getting held accountable for his stuff. Not so much I'm angry at Tom and what he did, or I'm angry that I'm in this situation, or I'm hurt that people went through, you know, devastating things. It's I'm mad that I'm being held accountable. Why is everybody coming after me? It's not my fault. There's two lawsuits that she's going to be stuck having to pay back. I don't get any jail time coming. of course, she's going to do anything and everything that she can to fight, to defend herself, to clear her name, to not be held responsible, because Spirit's saying she really doesn't have that much money herself. And she's going to fight to hold on to all of the stuff that Tom did give her that has any monetary value to it, because it's like that's in a sense her insurance, like those earrings that they've been fighting over back and forth. To her, it's just like, yeah, but I could sell them and pay my legal bills. That's why I want them, not because of any other reason. Because Erica was really thinking all my expensive things will be my way to bail myself out, so to speak. I'll sell them, auction them off, whatever. That's how I'll get my money to pay the lawyers. And because she hasn't been able to sell any of her stuff, she's really scrambling. But Spirit is saying, most of these lawsuits she'll end up getting excluded from, because they literally, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, it is Girardi Keese and Tom Girardi and all the people who worked at that firm's responsibility, because they're the ones that were in the office day to day to see things are awry, where they were the ones that were participating in it. So I don't feel that Erica is going to go to jail behind any of this, but she definitely is going to end up having to pay for some things. And Spirit is saying it'll be like Teresa Giudice, where we saw her like running around. I have a cookbook. I have this. I'm making a cameo on this show. It's like I'm doing every single thing I can to pay off these lawsuits and pay off this restitution, so that way I can get back out there and get to work again and keep my own money and rebuild my life. But there is two that she will end up having to pay back. Spirit saying she's going to lose those earrings. Nobody's going to let her keep them, so that's considered a big loss to her. There's another smaller one that I keep getting that's like Erica being on the hook for like $850,000. And then one of the bigger ones that targets the firm, her, everybody who benefited from it, and her having to pay back some of that too. But listen, Mimi, she is trying her hardest to still hold on to the life that she used to have. Because Spirit's saying, at the end of the day, Erica also, number one, knows, that is the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills going to be invested in truly watching her if she's living out of a studio apartment in Encinitas, driving a used Toyota Camry, trying to rebuild her life, one lawsuit by one lawsuit at a time? No. So part of her holding on and not downsizing is also about, I have to keep a certain lifestyle in order to keep my job. But Spirit's saying she's going to be forced to have to downsize even more. Because once all these like settlements and whatnot, and they finally start to reach the ends of, okay, we're done with the bankruptcy court, okay, we're done seizing this and that, she's going to have to pay back so much money. And Spirit keeps talking about being on some kind of a payment plan, that it's like every month, right off the top, the court's already like seizing half of your Bravo paycheck and any other money that you have coming in. So she's going to be forced to have to change her life and downsize even more, is what Spirit's saying. We just haven't seen it all yet. And Spirit's saying she's got another 5 to 10 years of going through all these lawsuits too. She's still open in the open statute of limitations. she's still eligible to get sued for a lot of these things. And then on top of it, a lot of lawsuits do take a very long time to get through the court system anyways, especially civil ones, and especially when there's always already like a bunch of lawsuits against somebody. So Spirit's saying she's got another 5 to 10 years before she's completely done wrapping all of these up in the first place anyways. She's going to spend more money on legal bills trying to fight these lawsuits than she's going to make, and then she's to have to pay things back with. Okay. Will she be continuing her quote-unquote music career? Spirit said no. Spirit said she will wait a few years, and then we're going to see her try to put out, like, some kind of a music video, but it'll be with, like, a group of people, and she'll try to play it off like, oh, it was just for fun, for Pride Month, or, you know, because this or that other housewife is super into music. But really, she's testing the waters to see, would people, like, welcome me back, or would there be interest in me doing this? But it's kind of an easy, like, oh, it's just for fun or charity thing that she can explain away, like, when people are like, what the hell is this? Because I don't see people receiving it well. Did Erica sleep with Armie Hammer? Spirit is saying no, but those are in my Patreon know about her and Scooter Braun. I know, Mimi. Listen, Spirit said Erica really wishes that she could find herself a Rick Hilton. Not you're only rich because you scammed old people and burn victims, but you really have some old Hollywood money, and you definitely could give me not only the life that I was used to living, but a bigger one. So it's not a surprise either that she was, you know, taking these trips back and forth with, what's her face, Diana Jenkins. Like, introduce me to all the rich old men that you're friends with, you know, and maybe I'll find myself a new dementia daddy. Because at some point I'm like, are they really a sugar daddy, or are they your dementia daddy? Okay, guys, drop any other questions that you have in the chat about Erica or anybody else on the cast. I'm going to save Kyle because, like I said, I have to get off of here in 15 minutes. I'm still going to do another one of these to finish up, especially after, you know, the rest of the reunions have aired. So we'll do Kyle and Mauricio then, because I'm sure people have more questions about their whole family situation, you know, and what happens with Kathy and Kyle and everything then. So if you guys want to drop everything else down. Also, I heard that Sheree Zampino didn't even bother showing up to the reunion. I don't know if that's true or not. That's the one that's Will Smith's ex-wife, right? Mimi, honestly, I wouldn't want to be married to one of these rich dudes like that anyways, now that I think about it, because you always have to worry, are they going to be a Tom Girardi or one of those, who is the Bernie Madoff, the Ponzi scheme type people or something like that, or, you know, you're going to have all these family and friends that are going to try to get rid of me, like, the second that you do get sick or old or pass away, because they're going to try to get the wife out so they can get the estate. It's like, It just seems like it's a way more fucking drama than it's worth. On top of it, you have to sleep with an old man. Gross. No, thank you. Ugh. I mean, at least Kathy Hilton and Rick Hilton, they were the same age. Like, they got together when they were young. It's not like Kathy was. I know everybody, doesn't have nice things to say about the mom, and in no way am I defending any of it. I'm just saying, like, we have to remember Kathy wasn't like 17 and Rick was 45. They were in the same age group and generation. So it is still a different situation than Erica, who was like 30 and willingly marrying an older man in his 60s at that point. Ooh. I'm gonna have to do some research on that, Mimi. I did not know. I thought Crystal was just kind of like the new Teddy. Like, she just sits there and is kind of boring and cries. I didn't realize that she actually had a whole like secret life as a madame. Was she also friends with Diana before the show started? Exactly, Mimi. I would never want to like have to depend on somebody else for that anyways, just because, in any moment they can be like, okay, I don't want you anymore. And then, like, what the hell are you going to do? Even if you don't have to deal with all the aftermath and legal problems like Erica has to with Tom, it's still, if you didn't learn how to work and support yourself, you end up shit, up a creek after things fall apart. The secretary. Yeah, okay. Do they even, I listen, not that I don't know anything about escort agencies, but I was like, do they really truly have a secretary, or was it more that somebody that answered the phone and was like figuring out, like, are you the feds, or are you really just a John, and we can actually like make an appointment and not worry about like us getting arrested or something? Because I'm like, how do you be a secretary for an escort agency? Like, that just seems like, hold please. Let me get our most available hooker on the line to talk to you. Like, I'm just thinking back to all the times that I was a secretary, like in offices, and I'm just like, how does that like transfer over to like a literal escort agency? Oh, let me find our first available hooker that we can send out to you. Like, what? And then I'm just trying to imagine Crystal being the girl that's on the other end, like scheduling these appointments. I wonder if she knew Erica. Listen, Erica said that she performed at adult parties and that Tom used to show up and sit in the corner and collect the check. So, did Erica work at this agency? Because I feel like maybe somehow they all know each other, like, but don't, if that makes sense. Yeah, you know what, Mimi? I'm actually thinking, I was like, this is probably going to be something that I will have to, like, do a deep dive in Patreon on, because there's no way in heck I can, like, get into that convolutedness over here without getting in trouble somehow or some way. That's crazy. Do you guys think that Diana was behind all those bots that attacked Garcelle? I number one, I do because it's pretty fucking obvious when they're all sitting there being like, "Oh, this is what you get. Don't ever go against Diana again, anyways." But if you guys do watch, Dana Wilkie said that she got like attacked by the bots and then they were like threatening her because she did a video about Diana in her past. And so she got the same ones a couple months before it happened in Garcelle. And, now obviously, like, Garcelle is too classy to be on that show. Like, honestly, I was so surprised that she ever even showed up on there. And I was actually going to watch it because I really do like Garcelle a lot. But then I didn't get obviously the time because my kid broke his leg. And then when I was like, oh, maybe I'll just go rewatch it now that the season has ended, I saw the reunion clips and Dorito was screaming at Garcelle and he talk. And then I saw the one where they said that Lisa said she doesn't like Garcelle being on the show because she brings race into it. And I was like, okay, my blood pressure cannot handle watching this show if people are being mean to Garcelle. Yes, Dario, please, because I got to get off in a couple minutes. If you guys had any questions about Garcelle, drop them down. But I was just like, okay, I can't. I know that they said Garcelle stands up to everybody and kind of sticks up for whoever is getting bullied. But she's just too classy. I was just, like I said, I can't imagine her on this show. And then I saw that people sent her Playboy pictures to her son. You gotta be really freaking sick to do that. Like, really? And a 14-year-old you guys were going after, and then you send a 14-year-old his mom's Playboy pictures. Like, first of all, I'm sure that's probably like against the law somehow, some way, because he's a minor, anyways. But really, like, why are you attacking a child? If you don't like Garcelle, go on her page and make fun of her and drag her for being in Playboy in the first place. But why would you send it to her kid? Like, you gotta be really fucked up in the head to like start including people's children in your nonsense. Well, the Spirit said she will be. I mean, she knows already that Diana did it. Everybody knows that Diana did it. Diana's not going to be on the show again next year, so I don't really see like, there being a whole lot of resolution or even Garcelle being able. I don't think Bravo is going to let Garcelle come out and even openly say like Diana is the one that did it even when she proves it, because then that makes Bravo look bad. It's going to give her a raise though. Spirit said Bravo will give Garcelle more money as like a thanks for not exposing it kind of thing. Honestly, Garcelle did the show because it was promised to her that if she did, she would get an overall like bigger deal with NBC. Remember she has that production and development deal. There's something about like Garcelle only came on to the show in the first place because it was scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. And she was brought in to kind of bring some balance back to the cast. Not only because obviously people were pointing out that it's been a show heavily surrounding only white women. So I hate to say it, but her and Crystal were basically the diversity hires. on top of Garcelle will actually stand up for things and bring some common sense and some value back in to the whole cast and change the vibe of everything. There's going to be a lot of cast shakeups over the next couple years, and honestly, I still see Garcelle being on the show for a few more years, but she's going to build up into doing more and more outside of it. And so in the next 3 to 4 years, she'll end up leaving because I see her having other projects taking up so much of her time that she can't be in so many places at once. We're going to see her in a lot of stuff this next year, too, is what Spirit is saying. There's another show that she's going to be involved in, and I also see some movies coming up for her as well. So, let me see. Yes, Dario, I mean, Spirit's saying that there will be something that sticks. I keep getting to that Garcelle's going to produce a show that'll end up sort of taking the space or the spot or filling the shoes of, Blackish and those types of shows where it's centered around like a black family, a sitcom, or maybe even a little bit one where it's kind of a drama, but there is some later moments in it. I see executive producing and having that really blow up for her. And Spirit is saying that it'll be one of those things where she just shows up here and there on the show, like she plays the school principal, so it's just like a reminder, like, this is Garcelle's show, even though you don't see her on it all the time because she is running it from behind the scenes. So she's going to end up doing bigger and better things anyways. I feel like a part of the whole, like, let's work with NBC, let's work with Bravo thing is Garcelle not making any public spectacle of what happened with the bots any more than what has been said. So that will also include, we paid you so you don't have to go after Diana, because if you do sue her, somebody is going to get a hold of the paperwork and then it'll all get rehashed again. How does Garcelle feel about Nikki and all that happens? And I'm going to answer this last question and then I have to go. But like I said, after they're done airing all of the reunion episodes, we'll come back and do a part 2 to these and finish it up. I'm not sure when all the reunions air, so it might not be until November, but we will come back and finish. Let me see. How does Garcelle feel about Nicki Minaj? She was honestly really disappointed because Spirit's saying that Garcelle, number one, hoped that Nikki would understand that it's a show that I was working on. I was a host. I showed up to work that day and was told, you're going to go out there and interview Janitor, and here's the questions that we need you to ask. It's not like she had any part in it. And honestly, Spirit keeps saying it's like Nene voice. Now why am I in it? As in, like, why don't you go after Lonnie? She's the executive producer. She's the one that booked this lady and okayed for it to be on the show, not me. I just was doing my job. And Garcelle honestly wanted to work with Nikki in the future and was excited about it. But now it's like, wow, like, not only did you go after me, but you attacked, my marriage breaking up and all this kind of stuff. And it's more like it just really caught her off guard and was unexpected. We're going to see these two make up publicly, though. Neither one of them wants to be in a fight with each other. And the thing that Spirit is saying, and I think this is why we all love Garcelle, she's a very factual, logical person, but she also can see other people's sides of things. And so for her, it's like I understand, you did feel attacked or like the whole world was going against you. And if these things weren't true, like I get it. I understand why I had to do what I had to do, but I also understand why you were upset. So, woman to woman, they'll have a conversation and we will see them post something like, ran into this queen, talked it out, it's all good, little Instagram story picture, and they'll move on. So, anyways, guys, I gotta run. If you wanted to book your own reading, psychicfellowlove.com. There's probably only maybe like one appointment left for October on there. Otherwise, it's booking into November. As of Monday, I will have emergency skip line appointments live on the site again. I hope everybody is having a good one. If you want to join the Patreon or follow me on Instagram, I am Psychic Fellow Love everywhere. And I will be back with our normally scheduled Friday readings next week on Friday. I hope everybody has a good one. I'm sorry that my YouTube lives weren't working great this week. That was not me. Google admitted it was their fault and it wasn't me. So I always feel like so redeemed when there's a tech issue and it's not my fault. I'm like, oh, thank God it wasn't me for once. So, but anyways, guys, I love you and I will talk to you all later. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Bye.